quantifiable information for this. So you're empowering your customers to give you feedback through common advertised channels. Centralized reporting for proactive surveys and complaint management, then structure some quantitative feedback in a drill-down report or a roll-up report. It sounds like a lot. It's nothing. It's nothing. Pat can do it with his eyes closed. Proactive surveys. You got to make them short. You really got to make them short. Just do some random sampling in your clients. Create a survey that the indices can be graphically displayed on your computer so you can track it over time. Just a little pie chart or a little bar chart, anything at all. It doesn't take that much time to do. So now you got to ask yourself a question. Carol, will you read the question? I know your foot hurts.
What is your company's risk exposure from lost revenue due to customer churn?
Yeah, customers leaving you. What's your lost revenue? Tim, what's your lost revenue? Don't answer it, but I know you and Bruce and Bill have talked about it a lot. I did some consulting with Tim's company. What's the likelihood of account growth or add-on business from current customers? You asking your customers this? How should the company prioritize its resources for the greatest bottom line improvement? How are you going to do that? Did you ever ask yourself those questions? What action should you take to strengthen your account relationships and increase customer loyalty? Maybe it's as much as giving them a plaque for being one of your best customers, and you can get those from Sandra. Or something else, because Sandra does corporate gifts. It's huge, it's important. Which account warrants some management attention or ownership attention and some special management? What new capabilities or products or services do the customers need to stay committed to you? When was the last time you interviewed your customers and said, hey, what else are you looking for? What else is going on? What do you want to come out in the marketplace with? How are you trying to brand yourself? What are you trying to do? What kind of house are your friends and relatives going to be looking for over the next 6 months? It doesn't have to be today. What are your clients looking for at a bank? What more can you do for your client? You do everything. What matters most to your customers? Because who's it all about? The customer. Thank you. So let's look at yin and yang here for a minute. Yin is passive receptive. It's admitting things. It's satisfying a customer need, right? It's meeting customer expectations. It's observing people and listening to your customer. And it's tailoring solutions to customers' needs and costs. But how do you get proactive and creative? Even more important. Henry Ford made a quote, and let me read it to you, because I never remember it. He said that the man or woman who uses his skill and constructive imagination to see how much he can give for $1 is bound to succeed. Ford's still here, and you know what? They never took any money from the government. Create customer needs. Don't wait to be told. Amaze your customer. And when you do it, use beautiful words to amaze them. Introduce some idea and services and products. Educate and coach your customers. How are you going to do that? You can send them business articles that you found. You can send them somebody that's going to help them work on their management plan or their marketing plan if they need some marketing help like Don Peterson does. You can do all of those kinds of things. So here's a few tips. It's essential to any business to attract and retain customers. And they're going to be more likely to purchase services and products as your relationship grows. You got to go deep instead of wide within an organization. Does anybody really understand what that means? Yeah, but even more than that. How do you go deep into a company, into a customer? You all have some customers that have other departments in their company. Some of you do, right? Yeah. So how do you go deep?
Ask them about their business.
Ask them about their business. And what else do you do?
They're affiliates or associates?
They're affiliates or associates, and you want to go deep into their company. If you're doing a good job for John Jones or Mary Smith, what other divisions you got that I should be talking to? Can you give me a warm introduction? I'd certainly appreciate it. Go deep. Go deep. Be consistent. in your approach and interactions. And treat them with humor and honesty, but most of all, treat them with respect. Everybody wants to be respected. So, tips for long-term customer retention. Let's keep going on this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Make sense? Okay? So, if you say you're going to make something happen tomorrow morning, and I said this before, and I'm going to say it again, you better make sure that that happens. You got to ask them for feedback how things are working out. You can't be afraid to hear something that you may not want to hear. It's the way you're going to save a customer. Follow through. Connect with your customers. Who here has read Harvey McKay's How to Swim with the Sharks? It's an old book. If you haven't, get it. If you can't get it, call me on the phone. My business cards are up here. I will treat you to the book. There's things you have to know about your customers that will keep them as customers for life. You know, there's a lot of new stuff out there today, but a lot of the old stuff is really good. And that's a great, great book. I strongly suggest it. I also strongly suggest if you're working to owners of companies, whether they're small or large, you buy another book, and I hope you write this down. It's called Selling to Vito. Vito was the very important top officer. They're going to help you go deep because they're going to give you a trickle down. You also want to meet some of the frontline employees. That's going to help you a lot because they know everything that goes on in a company. And they're going to give you tips, so you're going to be a lot smarter when you're trying to retain your customers because you're going to know what's going on the shop floor or in a retail store, whatever it is that's going on. Share a good book. Share an article. Send them something out. It's huge. Reward them, and this is where Sandra comes in. Reward them for staying on with you. Maybe it's a loyalty program or a service or a plaque or something or a trophy. Keep learning. The more knowledge and skills and new experiences you have, the more you can offer your customers. Maybe it's something about the mortgage market. Let me tell you something. My mother-in-law, God rest her soul, passed away in November. She was 91 years old. We had to sell her house in Libertyville. We tried selling her house. That wasn't going to happen. That was a stupid idea. You should always use a real estate broker. So anyway, we called a real estate broker, and we knew. So we got a bite on the house, which was a good thing, right? Okay. A good bite on the house. But the guy apparently had some problems, financial issues, that he claimed could be resolved. And he was having trouble getting a mortgage with a couple of banks and with another mortgage broker. The deal was going south, and this is the only deal we had. And it was a good deal for everybody, for him as well as for us. Our real estate agent took an extra step. She had strong relationships with two mortgage companies, two mortgage brokers. She got it done after the first phone call. She went the extra mile. She had the experiences. She exceeded expectations. And she used the contacts that she had and the experiences she had to make something good happen. That's what I'm talking about. We go back to her every single time. And we refer people to her. Keep your promises. We talked about it earlier. Get team members to share the same attitude. How many of you have regular meetings with your employees? Every week. How many of you set goals? You know, this restaurant, and every good restaurant, has a meeting on the menu for the day with all their employees. They do tastings of it, and they get them engaged, and they tell them what they want to push, etc. You've got to do that with your employees. Look at your customer as a partner. Fulfill the material expectations. Bridge departments within your companies and your suppliers to get things done. And you know, I forgot something. When I talked to you about going deep instead of wide before, you know another great place to find information about your target prospects that you want to sell, and we'll talk about this in another seminar that I'll give. but it's also